Cyber Rodeo recap and TeslaCon and the meet and greet. I'm Brian. Welcome to my Tesla weekend. How's everybody doing? Make sure you know if you can hear me. A big thanks to my newest Patreons, Armand, Bruce, and S. Garner. I sure appreciate your decision to help support the channel. And of course, if you're watching this on Friday, you're watching the full version on My Tesla Live, the second channel up there listed. Yep. Or it's whichever version it says on the screen right now. This could be the condensed version that goes out over the weekend. How we doing? Hello, Rob. So let's just start with the meet and greet. This was so much fun. The meet and greet was put together because I didn't know if there was going to be any events. I had reached out to TeslaCon, to the Tesla Texas Austin Owners Club, and said, hey, you doing anything? I'd love to be part of it. I'd love to help out. Whatever you got going on, let's work together. And then I never heard back, and I sent them a message on Twitter and on email. Didn't hear back, so I just assumed nothing was going on. Started scheduling this guy, and then was notified by one of their sponsors. Oh, actually, they are doing something. It just hasn't been announced yet. So I changed my date and all that. But that was a paid event, and it sold out. And then there's the main event, which also sold out. Was very difficult. Look at that. Free Cybertruck. How cool. But this event was awesome. We had Bear's Workshop, who you might have seen there a second ago. Dr. Know-It-All was there, of course. Very cool. Misinformation by his side. Joe Tetmeyer. So many cool people. And we actually had all the Texas drone pilots. So Joe was there, Jeff was there, Randy from Terrafactory, Texas was there, Jack from Texas Terrafactory was there, Brian Rashetsky was there, Brad Sloan said he was going to be there, but it was very busy and crowded, so I don't know if he actually made it. Hello, Wendelin. Good to see you. Hello, Mark. So it was a lot of fun. Alien Space showed up. That was unexpected. And, oh, what fun. There were just so many cool people. But there's a point to this that I'm getting to. I'll get there in a minute. And it has to do with why this is important. Yeah, people showed up with endless Teslas and rental cars because they're from out of town. But yeah, it was so wild. There's Bear. There's Brian Rashetsky. Just a lot of fun. And these are so many cool people that you just love to meet, love to see. And it went really, really well. And for those asking, there were a lot of people who asked at the time, did you cover your budget? The budget was covered. Thank you guys for your support. It was awesome. Hello, Kirk. Good to see you. Awesome for you to catch it live. So it was just a lot of fun. And the people were just amazing. And this is early on before it got mobbed. I figured I'd get there nice and early. You know, it starts at noon. I'll get there 10:15, have some time to set up, chat with my event planners and all that, get it all going. This is well before noon. So there was probably 50 to 70 people there at noon. Oh, it was so wild. And look at that. Famous for a day. How cool is that? How cool is that? Very cool. Then, of course, was the Cyber Rodeo. This is a Patreon exclusive. You're not missing much. It's just more street scene with the new DJI Pocket Cam. Man, this thing it's so silky smooth. It's amazing what it does. It does a great job. Oh, very cool. You can see me there. Very cool. Anyway, that's just walking around. Oh, of course. So, there was, the point I'm saying here is, when I walked up and down the line, I would ask people, why did you come here? Why are you at a factory that you're not even allowed inside of? And, well, I like Tesla. Do you? I mean, I do too. But there's a lot of things. I mean, I like cheesecake, but I'm not going to Cheesecake Factory if they told me they're booked solid for the night. I'll leave. I'm not interested. Hello, Hockey Day in Sarnia, Ontario. Hello. One guy said, well, I'm a manufacturing engineer. I build these machines that make all of these kinds of things work. I said, wow, so you'd go to any factory opening? He goes, maybe. I said, would you, if Ford opened theirs, would you go? He said, maybe not. I said, if Ford opened and you didn't have a ticket, would you go? He said, definitely not. What I'm getting at is Tesla's different, and Tesla fans are different. We're cut different. We're built different. Yeah, we, our devotion goes a little deeper. So if you're worried that the stock is inflated, maybe it is. But these are people who are holding, and I mean holding for good, for the foreseeable future. So the main event, I did not get in. And if you're going to watch videos from inside, the gold standard is Sandy. Because Sandy knows what everything is. When he looks at stuff, it's not like, you or me looking at stuff. We know what we're looking at. Sandy really knows what he's looking at. He's assessing. This is all professional. This is all as close to an insider's perspective as you're going to get. If you're going to watch only one, watch Sandy's. Because he's talking about all the stuff. Now, I have to confess, I have not watched all of them. You'd think I would have. But the coverage is already there, and I don't know what I could add to it without having been there myself, without putting in 11 cajillion hours. And I got a lot of stuff I'm already working on, so I'm going to keep working on that. Yeah, it's interesting stuff. It's interesting stuff. Another one. Now, here's the thing. Why let people in at all? Why handpick who gets to go in? Well, because, Charlie said, watch Sandy's twice. And when you're done with that, watch Jordan's. Because Jordan Giesecke is a masterclass in how this is done. Jordan does fantastic work. Why are you not unpaused? Oh, you were unpaused. I see. There we go. Jordan also knows what he's looking at. And Jordan Giesecke, I don't have to tell you guys who he is. If you're here, you know. But Jordan got to see what's going on in there and make professional assessments, which he just added to his existing videos. That's why you add someone like him to your invite list. I don't remember if he got in on his own. I think he got in as a +1, which is a bit weird. But that's what happens when you don't have a PR department. And if you're not remembering who he is, boom, that's Jordan Giesecke. It was wonderful meeting him. It was so cool. I hung back in line and I was like, oh, I don't want to. And he saw me and it was wonderful. Great guy. And then the following day was TeslaCon, which is where this was shot. And TeslaCon had a lot of guest speakers. Tickets were only $20, and for $20, it was a heck of a show. And that's in part because it wasn't designed to make a profit, although whatever leftover money went to charity. It was designed to make for a great experience. And they've gotten a lot of heat on social media about the event being a disaster. But I was there, and I will tell you it was not. In person, it was fantastic. It was a masterclass in how to hold an event like this. And I've seen Fudsters proclaim, well, this is just a Tesla fanboy circle jerk. Yeah, it is. That's why we're there, man. Well, if I wouldn't go because I don't like some of the guests. I don't, well, great. Bruce Burnworth from Health Soil Biomes. I don't care about that. Really? Maybe you would if you watched him speak, because he's a heck of a character for one thing, and what he's talking about is interesting, to me at least. if my wife had gone, she'd have fallen asleep during the speaker panel with Sandy and Jordan Gisagi, moderated by Farzad Masbahi. That was worth twice the price of admission by itself. From the technical end at home, yeah, it was a mess. It was a mess. But the streaming was only considered a few days later. I mean, like literally days before the event did they start addressing how the streaming would work. And I spoke with Anwar Beck, who is the vice president, I believe, of the Tesla Owners Club of Austin. And he asked me to bring my gear, just in case, so I did. But he didn't want to give me the exclusive because it would create an appearance of playing favorites, which is weird. I mean, all of these are favorites, but and they ended up flying some guy in from California who did his best, but they didn't do much to prepare for it. And the site does say that they will be releasing the full video soon, but I don't know if they will, because there are some pretty massive flaws in the feed that will be difficult to sort out. I offered to help. I told them I know what's wrong with it, but I have not heard back. So that's unfortunate. But hey, man, that's how it goes. So yeah, TeslaCon, a lot of fun. Some really great panelists, some fascinating people, and well, I don't care about this guy. Who's that? He's the president of the Austin Owners Club. Well, what does he know? Well, he knows how to bring all these people together and put on a $20 show that's really good and really compelling. Emmett Peppers was there. It was great. Bradford Ferguson. It was super cool. And yeah, Gally from Hyperchange. So many really awesome, talented, amazing people. And yeah, unfortunately I didn't get to rub elbows as much as I wanted because I was working, and I didn't get into the VIP lounge, which is disappointing because that's where all the elbows were. And I didn't really get to enjoy it as a spectator so much because I spent most of the time trying to troubleshoot the audio. But that's not their fault. I don't think, anyway. I don't think it is. Although Warren did say, Warren sent me an email saying that TeslaCon, that the Owners Club was very upset with me for holding a meet and greet, even though it was on a different day with different guests, with, while their event was sold out. I don't know how credible that is. They were friendly to me. They weren't hostile. I don't know what kind of rational adult would be upset. He said, well, they were upset because you didn't reach out to them and you kind of stepped on their toes by having an event. But I did reach out to them 3 separate times, 3 separate ways, through the website, Twitter, email. And then I eventually did hear back from them 2 days before, and I offered to help. I'm always offering to help. So, I don't know. If there's hard feelings in Texas, let me know what to do to fix them, because I think at one point, this guy was like, man, he was looking at the stage, he's like, whoa, what a panel. I go, yeah, I hate these guys. And I'm like, and the joke is, I don't. There isn't a single turd in the punch bowl. And it was a big punch bowl. And it was like, just the coolest. It was just the coolest. So the moral of that story is, if you go there, if you go to one of these events and there's an event like TeslaCon, you must go. You must. You must. Even if just to meet Dave Lee and Gally and Emmett and Bradford and all these just amazing people. It was really, really cool. Yeah, so I don't know. But again, the moral of the story is Tesla fans are cut from a different cloth. The only other brand I've ever seen with any kind of loyalty was Harley Davidson. And I'll guarantee you, Harley fans probably don't know who the CEO is. And if they do, they don't know who the CEO of the rival companies are. They don't know who the CEO of Yamaha or Honda are. Because they're just They're just fans. And are they investors too? Are Harley owners Harley investors? I don't think the overlap is quite the same. The people at this event, not even the content creators, but just the attendees, have spent so much of their lives investing so much of their money in this company. It's cut from a different cloth, man. It's just different. So I've got some, if you've got partial or entire questions, I've got whole answers. So we're going to jump into the Q&A hole here in a second. First, a quick thank you to my Patreons who get early access, bonus content, an ad-free experience, and all that good stuff. Help keep the channel running, get some exclusives, get access to my 11-year tracker at the $10 level and above. It's just really fun and cool. So, yeah, we got 14 minutes to answer questions. I say, let's get to it. We'll do this guy instead. It's more visually interesting. Tesla fans are cut from a different fabric. We are excited about the future, not looking at the past. That's great, Wendelin. I agree with you. Tesla fans, what amazes me is we know that the Tesla that is released in 6 months, even if it's the same car, is going to be better than the one we buy today, but we still want to buy the one today. It is wild the way that works. Warren the Lucid hater was there. Yeah, but I don't think his hatred of Lucid is... I have my own reservations about Lucid. I find Peter Rawlinson to be... He doesn't strike me as sincere, and the way he treats people like Bear's Workshop with hostility is beyond suspicious to me. Yeah. I really hope they figure out the feed, says Charlie. The Jordan Sandy interview could be great. It was so good. It was so fascinating. And at the end of it, Sandy pulled Jordan aside and said, you know, we should do these again. We should do these more often. I was like, oh, that would be so wild. When's the update to the 11-year tracker? I am working on it right now. I hope to have it out this weekend. Yeah. Thoughts on the split ratio? I'm in favor of a big one, like 100-to-1. I think 20-to-1 would be neat because it would make 100-to-1 from the previous split. I think more than 20-to-1 is unlikely. I think less than 10-to-1 is unlikely. But anywhere from 5 to 20, I think, is in the cards. And ultimately, it doesn't matter. I like 100-to-1 because it makes it easier for retail investors to put a small percentage of their pay away each week without it having to round to large amounts. Ben is excited to hopefully have one of the first Cybertrucks in South Dakota. And I feel like Ben had asked earlier, Cybertruck when? There it is. Ben had asked, Cybertruck when? Elon saying, hopefully in 23. Ooh, longer than I was expecting. If hopefully in 23, longer than I was expecting. We just got to get battery production up, and it's very difficult. By the way, I'm monkeying around with new, some lighting improvements. Let me know if it looks good. It's put a colored light strip up on the top there. Give it a little bit of difference. I'm a Harley owner, rider, and a Tesla investor. It never even occurred to me to invest in Harley-Davidson. Tesla is just way too exciting of a company. And that's interesting because there's a lot of things I consider myself huge fans of that I would never invest in. It would never occur to me. What do we need to know about Sandy's talk? So he was asked what Cybertruck production will be. That was the question that I asked him in my interview that I didn't quite get answered. And the number was lower than I thought. He said this whole factory, 670 to 750,000, including Model Y. And I think that's very low. This is based on square footage, this is roughly the size of Giga Shanghai, and they're doing 1 million. So I don't know. I don't know. Agree on Peter Rawlinson. He puts me off like no CEO does. Yeah. How many square feet in Project Bobcat area, the northeast section where the cathode building is being put together? We don't know because we don't know what the footprint is. I've started my tracker, but I can't really share it because we don't know what the footprint is. And there's only been a few pilings sunk so far. Ben believes that on the stock, 20-1 sounds good to me. Rob, yes, I have started the cathode factory tracker, but I haven't released it because I started a tracker in Shanghai when we believed that the property across the river at the south end was going to be the new factory. I started tracking it. I started a tracker at the south end of this factory when the area where the Model Ys are parked, where we thought that was going to be something. And I even started it on the other side of the highway when the footprint was laid down there. So maybe another week or two. I can start showing it. That'd be fun. The cathode plant is 2% done. And it would actually be more than 2% because the site prep is complete. Mostly complete. It's graded. Sandy subsequently said $1 million is possible in his review. $1 million is possible. The bottleneck on this factory is the castings, is the mega castings. So this was shot, as you can see on the screen, this is at night. The event is underway. It was around this time when someone informed us that the metal detectors had been taken down and the doors were closed. No one else was getting in. And even still, people were still hanging out, still milling about, still hoping against all hopes that they would get in. So one question I've seen is, why didn't I get in to the cyber rodeo? And I believe the answer is, they don't know who I am. Yeah, I can't imagine it's malicious, because why would it be? They just don't know who I am. It's still a small channel. Not this one. Not this one with, no real views, no real subscribers yet. This is the second channel. We're here for fun. The main channel has close to 16,000, which is respectable, but wouldn't necessarily put me on their radar. Another question. We'll get to that, Charlie. Another question was, why wasn't I invited to TeslaCon? And I've had conflicting answers to that. One person on the inside, who I think was trying to make me just feel better, said, "Oh, they're floating your name. You might get an MC position or something." And then, of course, Warren said that it's because they don't like me, which doesn't make any sense. But when I met with them in person, none of them knew who I was. I think that's the real reason. And they didn't really have anything about the factory itself. That wasn't one of the topics that was really covered. They covered, housing and cars and racing, and they covered a lot of things. But the factory itself really didn't get covered. The closest was Sandy and Jordan talking about it. And that was more about the assembly line than the building itself. So I thought it would be neat to have a panel with the drone pilots and myself to talk about the factory itself. But I can understand why that would be a little dry, even to some Tesla fans. So why wasn't I invited to that? I assume that's why. A combination of they didn't know that I existed, and it's not the most interesting topic. I did see an interesting one here a little bit back. Somebody said, maybe it was retracted. Where'd it go? Oh, Digital Blade Canada said, that doesn't make sense that they'd have an issue with you organizing your own event. I agree. It doesn't make sense because theirs was sold out. So it's not like it would hurt theirs. And I tried to have my event with theirs. I just didn't hear back. I assume it's because they get enough messages that it's difficult to sort through them all. Yeah. Couple more minutes. Yeah. So, Charlie Fox, I wonder how many people could have been at this event if there was no limit. If instead they made it a 5-day event and said no one gets in more than once, I have no doubt they could have gotten 100,000 people to this event. The Airbnb we stayed at, the host, said that she got a flyer in the mail saying, we're opening soon, you're going to be invited. And she checked on her community forum, nobody was invited. None of the community members were invited, which is unfortunate because those people, I think, really should be in. And in terms of myself, I was not the biggest channel to not be invited. Dr. Know-It-All has 3 times the subscribers I do. Ooh, look at that fat guy. And he did not get in either. And it's just, it's unfortunate. I think he would have had good insight. I am confident I would have also had good insight. But the best PR is no PR. And the truth is, Tesla does not need me. Do you think I'm going to stop covering it because I didn't get in? In fact, I had a great time. I had a great time at the meet and greet. I had a great time hanging out in front of the factory. I had a great time at TeslaCon. I didn't go on the Starbase Caravan because I was exhausted. I didn't even look to get a ticket to it. Not a ticket, but I posted on Twitter saying I would like to, if anyone's got a spare seat, I'd love to go. But I tweeted it really late the night before, and I assume it just wasn't seen until too late. And I was just spent. I was exhausted. It was days and days of limited sleep. So I don't know how that would have been. I'm still planning to go to Starbase, but I did not do it on this trip. It's a small regret, but it's a 5.5-hour drive each way. That's painful. So there we go. Any last minute questions? We've got a couple minutes left. Just a handful of viewers here. 27 viewers. This channel is picking up, and the full version of this will be out tomorrow. Condensed down. Sorry. You're watching the full version. You know how it goes. Yeah. So exciting. And my son graduates in June, at which time he will be... by the way, I saw the Roadster there. I happened upon one at Dollar Tree today. So I picked me up a $1.25 Roadster. Not too bad. Pretty decent paint for a Matchbox. I checked. It was the only one they had. So guys, yeah. I don't think there's any final thoughts. I am definitely jealous of everyone who got to go in, of people who got to see the Cybertruck in person. I am definitely jealous. No jokes about that. But, I get it. Daniel says, I was still radiating the sun. I think I got most of the dead skin off of me before you can still see it on my head pretty bad. I am still peeling. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. So, all right, well, I guess we're down to it. So, guys, what did I miss or misunderstand? Leave me all your thoughts, your wisdom, your juicy brilliance in them comments below. And as always, stay tuned, stay juicy. And I can't wait to hear from you clever robots at the Cybertruck delivery event next year. We shall see. Oh, and one last thing. If I want to feel bad for myself that I didn't get into the event or that I wasn't a guest speaker at TeslaCon, that's silly. Because TeslaCon invited Elon to speak at their event, and he did not have time for them, or the headspace, or the knowledge that it was actually going on. So if they have trouble with things like that, I would have just no room to complain. And it was so nice meeting you guys all, the ones I met. And if you see me in public, I'm not famous enough to feel harassed yet. Say hello. Take care, you guys.